Piano Man Dan, everybody. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Hello, you wonderful, wonderful Bavarians. Thank you so much for coming out on this lovely night. Finally, British summer is here, isn't it? Well, yeah, I don't know if it is actually. We've had a day of nice weather after a couple of months of sort of cold and wet, haven't we? It reminds me of my childhood in the 70s and 80s growing up in England, mainly in the summer, cold and wet, with reports of hot and dry weather from the Mediterranean, just to make us feel slightly jealous. But yes, do we have any holiday makers in, actually? Anybody holidaying in Eastbourne? No, and no campers then. Oh, there's one. You're not camping, are you? No, very wise, very wise. Where are you? Have you travelled far? Have you travelled far?
Yes, I have.
From
Germany.
That is a long way. Oh, that deserves a cheer, doesn't it? All of you coming from Meads, which is just 2 minutes up there. Look at that, Joe. That's commitment. Yes, but you're not camping, which is very sensible because I remember growing up in England in the 70s, and my family would take us on, camping trips. I seem to spend most of my summer holidays in a damp Devonian field, shivering under canvas. That's my, and they used to call them holidays, but I think they were more like military endurance exercises. That's my kind of recollection. And I used to think, really, my parents could have saved a lot of money if they'd just said to us, look, we're just going to camp in the kitchen and we'll leave the taps running for 2 weeks. And that's about the same kind of thing, isn't it? But my first ever memory, actually, of a family, so-called family camping holiday was in a Devonian field. And it rained for the entire 2 weeks. That's absolutely true. It absolutely poured down. I think my mum pretty much gave up. But I remember it wouldn't have been so bad, I think, if our parents, because I had some siblings, and if they'd said to us before that holiday, look kids, things are going to be pretty tough for 2 weeks, but just bear with it and we'll be back. That would have been okay, but they didn't. So I spent, as did my brother and sister, the entire time thinking my dad had lost his job. That was because, there we were in this muddy field. But what's odd, that even though I had those experiences as a child, and they were pretty harrowing, as I'm sure anybody that camped in England in the 70s would agree. I have a daughter, and I took her camping when she was growing up, which is a bit weird. And even when I spoke to other families when they were on camping holidays, and we all agreed we had the same experiences, yet we took our kids camping. So I suggested to her, she's just back from uni, and I said, do you want to go on a 2-week camping holiday? And she said no, which was fair enough. But the reason she gave, because she's just finished at uni, and she said, I can't go, Dad, because I'm working to save money to go on a gap year. And I don't know if you know much about gap years, but essentially, you probably do, I'm sure, but it's kind of what young people do pre or post university is they take themselves off to a far-flung country where they are going to sort of have experiences and learn about the authentic indigenous cultures. And as far as I can tell, those experiences involve drinking a lot of alcohol whilst dressed in swimwear. And certainly from the pictures that I can see. And I was just interested because I think the young people that actually live in those far-flung countries, they probably come over here to England on gap years, looking for a sort of an authentic indigenous cultural experience, which I think really involves pretty much exactly the same thing in terms of alcohol, but just with waterproofs rather than swimwear. I think that would give them the same deal.